It's Gary Bolden with Ray Review, and we are at Paint the Town Pottery, and we have the pleasure today of addressing the Dayton Chamber Business Woman of the Year for 2018, Miss Leah Michelle O'Neill, the owner of Paint the Town Pottery. So when did you first get involved in business?
Oh, wow. Business like a brick and mortar, August last year. Business itself was something my grandfather started teaching me when I was about 11 or 10 or 11 years old.
Okay.
My grandfather would spend every Saturday with me talking about how to save money, how to earn money, and he'd pay me to do odd jobs around the house, taught me about cleaning and cooking and yard work, and what it meant to do a full day's work.
Talk about the time here at Paint Your Town. How long has it been now since you've been in business here in Dayton?
The store itself has been open for, I think, going on 10 years. I am the third owner, and I took over August 2017.
So less than a year, and obviously you made a big impression on the local community. What has been the most exciting and fun thing about being the owner of Paint the Town Pottery?
I would have to say, besides watching my daughters grow into being in a business and watching my daughters create, would see all the creativity in this town. Seeing the children come in and the parents come in. And of course I always hear, well, I'm not an artist, or I can't draw a stick figure. But they create some of the most beautiful pieces. It's almost like this store itself has a bit of miraculous or magic or something about it that always brings out the creativity in everyone. Children that don't sit still can sit still and paint, and then they go and play, they come back and they do it again. And I get to see the best of people. They may not come in the best mood, but after sitting here as a family or sitting here as a group, and I get to watch them come together and come to life and put on music and eat snacks, and they start telling stories to one another, and this whole creative atmosphere they create themselves, and I get to watch that. That is one of my favorite things here.
You love to dress up. You have your
Yes.
tiara on right now.
That was in
And-
honor of Miss Christine's that I just now recently got to hear her introduction at the chamber meeting at the banquet.
Okay.
That was in honor of her.
When did you first start getting enamored with dressing up like a princess?
Oh, now that's fun. When did I start dressing up as a princess and making those costumes? Oh, I think when I realized I was having daughters. And I had chosen to either do princesses or superheroes. I was going to see which way they leaned. And I was going to either do superheroes or princesses. And I started doing face painting. Once upon a time, face painting. And I made this costume, and I showed up one day, and I saw the look on my daughter's faces. And it was this look of awe. It's a look I won't get for the rest of my life from them, but for now, I get this look of awe. And then I walk out into the street, or I walk into the event room, and these children light up. They know that I'm not a real princess. They know that I'm a character from a story. But for just a few minutes, for them and for me, a story comes to life. And so I would have to say about almost 5 years ago, I started wanting to do princesses when I started seeing the reactions. So close to 4 to 5 years ago.
Okay. On a day in, day out basis, you've also been known to show up to work in overalls and
Yes.
paint all over you. So
Yes, that's
you
a
really
normal.
don't, two different personalities almost.
Not really. It's all one and the same. I grew up in theater. I have a background in theater, so dressing up as a character is something I love to do. And I love to have story times and have the kids dress up and help with the stories. But I can't wear that and actually get any work done here in the store. During the times when I don't have guests or story time or events going on, I still have to do the day-to-day painting of orders, pouring the slip, decorating and scrubbing floors, and it just isn't feasible to wear the dress.
Right. But
Besides, it's a corset.
as a normal personality, I don't know you as a prissy princess type.
No.
You're more of a get down in the dirt, get your nose dirty
Yes.
type of worker.
But you've seen me as a princess.
I have seen you, and I've also seen you back in the kilns doing work and covered with paint and kiln dust and all that. So it's almost like it's almost like two different personalities. Even though I know your personality is the same in both, but it's definitely different demeanor.
We all have to take on our different demeanors for each situation, and it's all one and the same.
Yeah.
Because I get to learn something every time I'm a princess. I get to learn something.
Okay. What has been the thing that has made you a successful business person here in Ray County at Paint the Town?
That'd be the people I work with. Alicia, who comes in and she works. Karen, who works almost as many hours as I do. You coming in, helping, giving advice, opinions. All the people that come in and help. Marlisa. There are tons of people. They make this a success. Richard, Tootie. If I can just name a handful. My daughters, who inspire most of this by their reaction to something, inspires me. That's what this store needs. By listening to the people I've just named, their ideas, and also the wonderful nonprofits that invite me to work with them, RC3, the Care Center, United Way. All these groups ask me to work with them, or I offer my services. And to me, that's what makes it a success here, is the people that work here. Right. It's not really me that makes this a success. It's the people around me that do. My husband gave me the greatest advice many years ago. He said, you do not have to show you're the smartest person in the room by putting everybody down. You surround yourself with the smartest people. And in that aspect, you become the smartest person. Because you are smart enough to know that these people are perfection in their fields. And I may have won the award, but the award really does belong to the individuals that work here day in and day out.
Talk about your background in theater.
Okay.
When did you get involved in theater?
Well, now that is a funny story. I got involved when I was about, 11 years old. I got to play a talking cow, Bessie Mae Mucho. And I got to be this cow that never had one line except moo, but I could sing and dance, and I won an Oscar, evidently. And from there, I played in The Miracle Worker as Annie Sullivan, Vera Claythorne. I got to play different parts, using different accents, and helping make costumes, helping make sets. I had a wonderful relationship with many of the people in the theater. And I'm actually still in contact with most of them that I grew up with.
So how many plays have you been in over your lifetime?
Acting or building sets and working backstage, or both?
Both.
Close to 150, 200 shows.
And what was your favorite play that you've ever done?
I can't give you one.
Just
Every one of them had a different personality to it. Every one of them had different people. I have funny stories throughout. One of my favorite things is recently the TVT asked me to help with their drama camps. And it brought back all of my love for theater. So working with them and Miss Caitlin and Miss Karen and David, working with all of them, I think so far that's been one of my favorite experiences. That's actually how I met your granddaughters.
Yeah. Your other thing that you do is face painting.
Yes.
Well, one of the many things you do is face painting.
Yeah.
So, what is it that got you into face painting?
Marketing. I love to paint, but I thought, well, face paint will draw people to my booth. And it'll be something fun to do. And I wasn't very good. When I first started, I was not very good. And then I got to watch these creations come to life. But the best part was watching the kids' faces when I was done. No matter how bad of a job I did, or great of a job I've done, the kids, they just light up, because my favorite story is this young man. He was very special. He wanted Batman. Batman was his thing. So I painted a Batman mask on him. And it wasn't perfectly even. It was not perfect. And his dad said, well, I want to be the Joker. And his son was like, I'm going to be Batman. And I told the young boy that when you get your face painted, you get to be that person for a few moments. You get to be Batman. So he started to pretend that he was Batman and he was going to be a superhero. So his dad got the Joker. First time I ever did the Joker. And so I'd get to do the Joker on his face. And I watched as they ran down the street being the Joker and Batman. And when they came back, they were still the Joker and Batman hours later. And they came back to say, I saved a lady, or I did this. And they had a story of the adventures of Batman that day. And that's why I love face painting. No matter how good or how bad a face paint may be, the kids make a story for it. And they just become these characters. It's wonderful.
Now, one thing I will say is you don't do it for the money.
Ha, ha, ha.
Because you don't charge near as much as other people. Why is that?
I have 3 kids. I came from a background of not a lot of money. And I don't like to spend a ton of money if I don't have to. But would I pay $20 for a butterfly on my daughter's face? If I got to see the smile on her face, yes. But not everybody can afford it. And every kid deserves that fairy tale. It doesn't matter whether mom and dad have $20 in the bank or $200,000 in the bank. Every child deserves that fairy tale. And I really do believe that. So I put my prices where everybody can have that moment of imagination and that moment of stepping out of every day for just a few minutes.
Talk about the future here at
Okay.
Paint the Town. What are some of the ideas you have that you want to roll out here in the next year or two?
I just want to keep rolling out the handmade pottery here, making it 100% made here, not just from China. So of course we're running that sale until all the China pieces are gone. I want to see more camps and a lot of involvement with Bryan College, the community. I just want to see more creativity coming into the store and being able to then take that creativity back out into the community. That's my hope, and I'm always open to suggestions and ideas. And if someone comes in with a great idea and they're willing to help me work with it, I'm more than willing to try. The only thing we do is we don't do anything non-family oriented.
I know it's a great honor, and I know that you're very humbled by it, and I'm sure you'd be the first to say, I don't deserve this, because I know you.
I can think of at least 10 other women that probably work harder than I do, longer hours, and probably deserve it more than I do.
Yeah.
But you're right. I do feel very humbled that I was chosen for this.
Right.
And that such a wonderful lady in our community was there to present it. I really do hate that I missed it.
Talk about a little bit just about your feeling about being a woman in the business world, how that's evolved over your lifespan.
Well, considering where I come from and my background being a mechanic, I really don't have much of an opinion. People say, well, you must be a feminist. No, I'm not. I'm an equalitist. Well, they say, well, being a businesswoman, you must feel empowered. No, I just feel like I want to show my daughters that anybody can do anything when you put your mind to it, no matter male or female, rough background, easy background. It doesn't really matter. Anybody can do anything they put their mind to. My dad worked hard, but my grandparents had a huge influence in molding me. And my mom had a huge influence in molding me. And one thing that my grandmother and grandfather always told me is, your reputation is the only thing you'll ever have. Money can be taken away. You can be stripped of everything you own. But if you cannot be honest, you have nothing. And being a woman in this industry, or being a woman as a mechanic, that's the only thing I can really think of, is that anybody can do it, and the only thing you have is your word. So I don't know if that really answers your question, because I don't see myself as a businesswoman. I just see myself running a business for my family. I was a teacher when I was in college, and then I was a tutor for the deaf. And I worked those things in through college. I was always working in college, but I was always working for someone. Through college, I had 3 jobs. So working was never something I ran from because I had to pay my bills. I had to help pay my college. My grandparents worked to help a lot, and they sent me to New Zealand. They did amazing things, but I had to pay the biggest bulk of it because that's the way you do things. That's what you're supposed to do. So no, owning my own business was not something I did. I have a degree in psychology, philosophy, and a certificate in nuclear valve work. So for several years, I was a mechanic for the nuclear power. So being a business owner wasn't something I ever saw myself doing. So I had actually planned on never marrying and staying in the nuclear industry until I met my husband. And he's the one that actually inspired me to own a business.
Usually you hear the story about the woman behind the man.
Nope.
In this case, it's the man behind the woman.
He is all that is good. He's a man that understands industry. He's a man that understands business. He's a man that understands people. And when we met, I was 26 years old and he was 58, and everybody just said, "Oh my word, no. She's a gold digger. He's just after her because she's young." Oh, we heard everything. But the truth was, he saw something that I don't think anyone else did. I don't even think I saw it. And he saw someone with potential, someone that could make something, but also be a good mom, because I never planned on being a mom. And that's what he tells me every day he fell in love with, was the person I always was, but I never showed everybody. I only showed him privately when we were together. And yeah, he's the reason this store is here the way it is. He believed in me in a way that no one has ever believed in me.
You like to sing sometimes.
Yes, I do love to sing.
Yes. Now, how old were you when you learned to sing?
My very first solo, I was 5 years old in church singing Jesus Loves Me. And the music director was a family friend. So he would always let me come up and sing Jesus Loves Me. And then I just started singing from there. And for years I wanted to be on Broadway. But then I realized what I'd have to do to be on Broadway. And I realized that would go against who I am. So I decided not to go that direction.
So, who did you take singing lessons from? Anybody that we would know?
You already know the answer to that, Gary. His name is Dan Truitt. He played Rolf in The Sound of Music, which he was the boyfriend to the older girl. He did I Am 16 Going on 17, well, I Am 17 Going on 18, that song. He was one of the Nazis.
So, what's the first real song that you learned to sing?
Thank You by Ray Boltz.
Oh.
The very first song that I learned to sing, and to this day I can remember it, is Thank You by Ray Boltz.
Okay. Would you like to hum a few bars?
I knew this was coming. Would you like me to sing something, Gary? Is that what you're getting at?
Oh, yes, of
Because
course.
if you notice, my face is now just a bit red.
Yes, a bit.
Why don't you tell me what song you'd like to hear?
Whatever you would think you would sing the best.
Okay, good, so we're done. Okay. I haven't said thank you in years, but I'll do a little bit of it, because it's actually kind of perfect, because it talks about being a Christian, going to heaven. I cannot say I've saved a lot of lives. I'm not the best example, as much as I try. Just ask my son. I'm not the best example, but I do try. So Ray Boltz did a beautiful song called Thank You, and it was back in the early 90s, I guess. So we'll try that one.
Okay. I can't wait.
Of course you're going to do it on a day I have not warmed up or been singing. Thank you so much, Gary. All right. Dreamed I went to heaven. You were there with me. We walked upon the streets of gold beside the crystal sea. We heard the angels singing, then someone called your name. I turned and saw this young man, he was smiling as he came. And he said, friend, you may not know me now. But then he said, but wait, you used to teach my Sunday school when I was only 8. Every week you would say a prayer before the class would start. One day, when you said that prayer, I asked Jesus in my heart. Thank you for giving to the Lord. You are the life that has changed. Thank you for giving to the Lord. I am so glad you gave. What'd I do?
Great way to end the interview.
Thank you.
I knew you could sing.